It wasn't the nail-biting finish that we've been accustomed to over the past couple of days, but it was an interesting game to watch nevertheless. This is Uninvited Opinions, and you're watching another episode of End of Days Play. So, Nags, it was another interesting game between the Rajasthan Royals and the Kolkata Knight Riders. Give us a quick summary of what happened today.
Yes, so it was the first game that Rajasthan were playing in Dubai. So they moved out of Sharjah, and it was interesting to see what their tactics are going to be. So they won the toss, and as expected, they chose to field first. So Kolkata batted first, and it was pleasing to see Jofra Archer spewing fire and clocking close to 150 kilometers per hour regularly. And Shubman Gill and Sunil Narayan had it took them by surprise, and Sunil Narayan fell early, but then Shubman Gill stuck on in the company of Nitish Rana, added some useful runs. But then KKR's batting actually never really gained momentum. Just when you thought they had a decent partnership going, they would lose a wicket. And then it brought Andre Russell early into the crease. He again entertained with quick sixes here and there, but then fell for 24 runs. So at the end of the 15th over, it was Morgan and Pat Cummins. So you were looking down at the tail of Kolkata Knight Riders. But then together they formed a good, useful partnership. And then Morgan scored some late blows to bring Kolkata to a respectable 174 for 6 in their 20 overs. In reply, Rajasthan Royals looked very nervy. Smith was very uncharacteristic in his early hoiks against a very disciplined bowling spell by Pat Cummins. That resulted in his wicket early on. And then we were expecting the same miracles from Sanju Samson, and he got out cheaply as well to Shivam Mavi's inspired spell. And then Joss Butler was the only hope, who also fell. So at 45 for 5, you knew that the chase had completely derailed. And it was finally left to Tom Curran to score a 50 of his own for the first time in IPL. That gave some respectability to Rajasthan's chasing total in their losing cause. So eventually, they limped to 137 for the loss of 9 wickets in their 20 overs, resulting in a 37-run win for Kolkata.
A few interesting things to talk about from today's game. What do you want to talk about first?
Is Rajasthan's batting lacking some teeth in their middle order? You were surprised to see Smith open the batting in the first 2 games, and but then when Butler came back, I thought they would slot in Jaiswal again at the top and allow Smith to go back to the middle order where he is more suited to bat, and he's been doing that well for Australia. And considering that they were playing KKR, who are known for their bowling depth both in the pace and spin department, it required someone mature who was capable of maneuvering the field and milking the bowling in the middle. It would have been nice to see Smith move down the order, but that was not to be the case. But then you can't expect Samson also to come good game after game. So he was due for a failure, and that happened. And then you were looking at Robin Uthappa, Rian Parag, and Rahul Tewatia. So it needed some steady contributions from the old pro Uthappa and the young promising youngster Rian Parag, but that was not to be the case. So you felt that their batting needs either rejigging or new personnel. I somehow felt we both picked Yashasvi Jaiswal to be the one to watch out for. So at least they need to bring him in the batting lineup and slot him at the top, and the rest can probably take care of themselves.
Yeah, I think Rajasthan need to probably have rethink, especially on games being played at the larger stadiums of Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Probably bring in Jaiswal for one of Robin Uthappa or Rian Parag, and Smith moving down the order to add more stability to the middle order.
Yes, so you talked about Dubai and the fast-paced pitch that Dubai offers. So, what do you have to say about the show that the Pacers from both sides put today?
It was really pleasing to see, as you mentioned up earlier, Jofra Archer was just on fire. He was unplayable for the first 3 overs that he bowled, although he went for a few runs in the fourth over that he came back to bowl at the end, it was just a sight to watch, clocking consistently close to 150 kilometers, a peach of a delivery to get Dinesh Karthik out. Andre Russell was just waving in and out, avoiding bounces. It was a brilliant sight to watch, even in a T20 game. And on the other hand, you had the Kolkata pace unit, all of them sort of coming together, bowling with great pace, great control. Pat Cummins, Shivam Mavi, and Kamlesh Nagarkoti, they kept going at it, did not release the pressure on the Rajasthan batting unit, and made sure that they kept picking wickets, which really pegged back the Rajasthan chase. It was brilliant to watch the Pacers today.
Yes, it's. I wouldn't have thought that we would ever come and term something, associate a term like pace battery to a T20 bowling unit. It won't be wrong to actually call what the personnel that Kolkata have in their ranks, up their ranks, to call a pace battery of sorts.
So, where do you think the game was won or lost today?
So we talked about how shoddy or how confused tactically Rajasthan were. But on the other hand, you had Kolkata, which pretty much ticked all their boxes. So it was like playing to their anthem of Korbo, Lorbo, Jeetbo. So it was their batsmen who, in spite of losing regular wickets, they kept at it. They kept fighting, and even when at the 15th over it was just left to Morgan and Pat Cummins, still kept at it and got those runs that proved probably above par at the end. And then once the batting was over, the bowling unit came together and they were at it. So it was the Lorbo and Corbo attitude that the bowling unit showed. So it was a complete team performance, and something that will please every KKR fan.
Yeah. Imagine if this game had been played out in Eden Gardens to a packed house with the anthem playing Korbo Lor Pujitpo. It would have been a sight to watch. Sadly, we are missing that in this tournament. But nevertheless, we are hoping that the fans would be enjoying these games sitting in their comfort of their homes. What do you have in terms of fun fact for the day?
Playing behind closed doors, empty stadiums, and also having monstrous sixes being hit means that there is nobody to fetch the ball back once the ball goes into the upper tier. Or in a short playing ground like Sharjah, if the ball is hit out of the ground, you are not going to get that ball back. So the number of balls that have been replaced during the play in these games so far in this IPL is interesting fact by itself. So even today, some of the sixes, monster hits by Andre Russell, didn't see the ball coming back. So you always had the spare ball being brought in the box and being replaced. So that's an interesting observation.
I heard somewhere that I think the tournament has already recorded over 170 odd sixes in 11 games. It'll be interesting to understand how many of the sixes resulted in a change of balls actually. So let's try and dig that stat out someday. Key moment of the day, I thought the passage towards the end of the Kolkata innings, the last 4 overs where they scored 47 runs to provide the ballast to their innings and finish at a very competitive total of over 170. I think that's where probably KKR snatched the game away from Rajasthan. And Rajasthan, if they were to look back, they had an excellent bowling effort up until that point in time. They'd probably be ruining those last 4 overs, which probably gave some momentum away to Kolkata, and proved a chase too hard for them to conquer. And who's your pick for the player of the game?
It had to be the bowlers from KKR who were equally impressive. One trying to overshadow the other. So I thought I would concur with the analyst's choice of going for the young Shivam Mavi. He bowled impressively, and I think he is only benefiting with the likes of Pat Cummins in the squad and the kind of lengths he was bowling to Butler. He was up for fight. If Butler was trying to swing hard, he was trying to show what he has to offer as well. So I think it was a correct choice to go with Mavi, and it would do his confidence a world of good.
Looking at tomorrow's game, so we've got the Kings XI Punjab playing against the Mumbai Indians. What's your prediction for tomorrow's game? Who are you going to pick with today? Who are you going to leave me with?
Yeah. two teams that are coming back from very close finishes and ending up on the losing side. But they are Kings XI are moving to Abu Dhabi for the first time. So I believe Mumbai Indians, having played there twice before, gives them a slight edge. So I'll go with Mumbai.
I think Mumbai's previous game, I think the pitches are much slower than what they were. So I'm probably going to hitch my wagon to Kings XI Punjab. So let's see what happens tomorrow. That's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you for watching this. If you like this episode, please like this video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel to keep more videos coming your way. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a lovely day ahead.